Hi, I'm Dave, founder of Halloween Year Round, and today we're talking about the latest episode of American Horror Story, Season 10, Episode 4, Blood Buffet, which, by the way, is probably my favorite title of any of the episodes this season so far. Whether it or not it's my favorite episode, I don't know. I gotta be honest, I'm kind of on the fence about this one. So, spoilers if you haven't seen it. You know, this one is primarily a flashback episode that shows the backstory of, you know, the chemist and the pill and Belle, and just sort of how all that came together, you know, prior to the story that we have right now. So, you know, it opens up 5 years earlier where the chemist moves to Provincetown, you know, saying she's just looking for a quiet place to get away with good ventilation, and we learn that she's legit. She's got a PhD from Harvard. I'm actually friends with a PhD chemist, and I gotta see if he's developing a pill like this, because I'd be interested in using it. Not really. So, right off the bat, I was really interested in this backstory, you know, where the chemist is very mysterious, and I wanted to see where she came from, where the pill came from, and, you know, we see it being synthesized. I can't help but think back to Breaking Bad. You know, I love a good chemistry scene, and I feel like, even in the show, you know, Dennis O'Hare's character's like, are you gonna cook meth out here? And I feel like Breaking Bad is has so infiltrated the cultural zeitgeist that anytime anyone talks about chemistry or being a chemist, everyone's first thought is, oh, are you gonna cook meth with that? But no, what she has is actually much more useful. But, you know, she's doing a study, and that part of the episode I really liked. I really enjoyed seeing, you know, sort of how that comes together. The slow transformation of that one musician into, you know, the bald Nosferatu-like monster that we're used to seeing in the current timeline. And I almost feel like the episode should have focused primarily on him and on the chemist and on just how that went, because I feel like if you're going to do a flashback episode, it's essentially, it's pure exposition. You know, there's no other reason to do it than to explain things. And you have to ask yourself, number one, is this something that needs explaining? And number two, is this something that is, you know, is explaining it going to be valuable runtime, you know, in the entirety of the season? And in a season as short as this, you know, we're only on 4 episodes. According to I looked at the IMDb schedule, I think that the next one, the Roswell half of the season, starts on episode 7, because that one's titled "Take Me to Your Leader." So if that's true, we've only got 2 episodes left, and we're like just getting into the, you know, the story of you know, Harry the writer and his vampire family, and, you know, where all that's gonna go. So I'm cool with getting this backstory of the chemist and, you know, of the transformation into the monsters, and the difference between, you know, will creative people do this, uncreative people turn into this. I think that's a really cool idea, but I don't know that we necessarily needed this as an entire episode. I don't know if, you know, these scenes might have played better as, you know, like flashbacks in another one, but still, you know, keeping the timeline moving forward. I will say, as much as I feel like it wasn't entirely necessary to the narrative, I did genuinely enjoy, you know, Belle Noir's sort of backstory. That's one that speaking as someone who also has been a self-published author who has struggled with the idea of, you know, like, I want to chase my dream, and then that dream doesn't take off right away, and you're like, well, what am I doing? Am I just wasting my time? I really, really related to her in that sense. I just think that from a narrative perspective, and with only a total of 6 episodes to tell the story, I don't know that one out of those 6 episodes needed to be just all flashback, and I don't know that all the information we got in this episode was really that relevant, if you know what I mean. So it honestly has me torn, because I did genuinely enjoy most of it, and if this were a longer season, if this were one of the regular seasons that, without the double feature, I think it would be fine to, if you're going to have 10 to 12 episodes and just use one for flashback, okay. If you're going to tell pertinent information, sure. I just don't know that it was necessarily needed here. But I am still excited about where this season goes. It's weird. It's like this season started off as, it felt like Salem's Lot, and now it's turning into like American Horror Story meets Breaking Bad. And it's I feel like the writing is better than it's been in a long time, but the overall narrative is less. It's not. It doesn't have the momentum that I think other seasons had, I think, is the best way to describe it. But maybe that's just this week's episode. I certainly hope that with only 2 left, you really gotta run to the finish line and wrap up this story. I guess I wish we would have spent more time with Harry, and his daughter as vampires, and sort of flesh that story out. So, good episode, but in its place in the overall season, I don't know that it will ultimately prove necessary. I could be wrong. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Let me know if you think that if you like these flashback episodes, if you like getting all this backstory, and if you think it's all relevant. Let me know in the comments. I will be back tomorrow with a review of James Wan's Malignant. That's debuting in theaters and on HBO Max. We also did a new Spirit Halloween video. Shout out to my Reaper friend behind me. That's going to be up in the next day or two. And stay tuned for more. Like, share, subscribe for all the awesome horror and Halloween content. You can check out the website, HalloweenYearRound.com. Follow it on Facebook and Twitter. And as always, stay scared. And remember, every day is Halloween.